Hi everyone, it's Tatyana from Tatyana's Everyday Food, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make the perfect sponge cake every single time. This no-fail and simple cake recipe I've been using in a couple of my other food videos, and it can be used with just about any topping and any frosting. For today's video, I'm using two 8-inch round cake pans, and this recipe can be adapted and used for just about any size of pan, like a jelly roll pan or a square cake pan, whatever you need for your recipe. Now, regardless of what kind of pan you're using, here are a few important pointers. You want to make sure to use a high quality parchment paper and line just the bottom of your pan, but under no circumstances do I recommend that you grease the sides of the pan. What happens if you grease the sides is the cake batter is just going to pull away from the pan and it's going to cave in on itself, and that's not what we want. And now for our ingredients. We're going to need 6 large eggs. Now I just took these out of the refrigerator. If you want to bring them up to room temperature, you can. I've tried it both ways and I really don't see a difference. We're going to need 1 cup of all-purpose flour. We're going to need 1 teaspoon of baking powder and then 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar. I'm gonna add all 6 of my eggs into my mixer bowl, and then I'm also gonna add my sugar. And now it's important when you're starting your cake batter to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and have it preheated and ready. Now I'm gonna add my sugar into my mixer bowl. And now we need to whisk our eggs and our sugar on high speed until the egg is really thick and pale, and they're going to be almost white in color. And that's just the way we need them. Now, depending on what type of mixer you have, it could take up to 10 minutes. With my mixer, it takes anywhere from 7 to 8 minutes. My egg batter is all done, and you can see just how thick and pale it is, and that's just the way we need it for this recipe. And now we can start adding our flour. So I have 1 cup of flour, and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of my baking powder to it. Just want to give it a quick stir. And then we're going to use a fine mesh strainer to carefully add the flour into our batter. So I'm just going to place all my flour into a strainer. And you just want to very carefully and gradually start adding the flour. You want to take your spatula and very gently and very carefully fold all that flour together. Now I add my flour in very, very small batches just so that I can get it well incorporated after each addition. And my last addition, so I added my flour in about 5 increments. I'm going to carefully fold the last batch in there. You want to immediately transfer the cake batter into your pan, and I'm going to divide it evenly between the 2 pans that I have here. Just gently pour it into your pan. And just spread it evenly to the sides of the pan. As soon as you've poured your cake batter into your pans, you want to place it into the oven. Now you want to make sure your oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and I bake my cakes just until they're golden brown on top, about 10 to 12 minutes. I just took my cakes out of the oven, and you can see how beautiful and golden brown they are. That's just the way we need them. Now right after you take them out of the oven, just run a butter knife along the edge of the cakes just to loosen them from the pan. And you want to do this as soon as you pull them out of the oven. Okay, just like so. And then we're going to invert them onto our cooling rack. So take my cooling rack, flip them upside down. Now I always turn my cakes upside down as soon as I take them out of the oven. That way you always have a flat, even cake. And now you also want to take off the parchment paper. Just very slowly start from one end and pull it off. I'm gonna let my cakes cool completely before I use them for anything, before I slice them, top them, or frost them with anything. If you like this video, make sure to watch all my cake recipe videos on my YouTube channel. You'll get some ideas for how to use the sponge cake and some really delicious cake recipes.